Jeff, how'd the guys look today?
Who couldn't be great today? It's one of the most beautiful days of the year. It was awesome. It's different because I'm usually talking to you guys on a base down day, and those are always easier days because it's first and second down, and the defenses are a lot calmer. And today is third down day, so this day is always a more difficult day because you're doing your best to guess what they're going to line up in, and it's usually a blitz of the week, or they're going to do something that you're not prepared for, so you're trying to guess what that's going to be. And so today's always a little more frustrating, but it wasn't because our kids weren't locked in and giving me great effort.
You alluded to it yesterday with Temple making the change at their head coach, but what do you guys expect? Is it hard to know what to expect this week because of that?
I just think you got to use some common sense. I memean, Everett's been doing it a long time. It's not like you could go out there and change your entire offense, your defense, and your special teams, but you just got to, you just don't know. To your point. And there's always that in the game where there's always something those guys are going to show you they haven't shown you, and you got to make some adjustments and adapt on the field a lot of times.
Changes aside, what are the big strengths of their team that you've seen that you have to be ready for?
Well, defensively, they've got as good a defensive line as we've faced this entire year. I would compare them to us in Memphis, and their people. Their edge rushers are really special. 34 and 3 are really good football players. Both inside backers are really good players. Their secondary is very athletic. They've done a good job of putting a good roster together. Offensively, the tailback is a big, physical, strong runner. The quarterback's a better athlete than you want him to be. And the receiver 5 is really special. I mean, they do a good job of getting on the ball, and they torched us last year. Let's just be honest. Let's just call a spade a spade. We went up there and they embarrassed our defense. And if we hadn't had an offensive breakout that game, we would have got beat in Temple last year, to be very honest with you.
We're talking to some of your seniors today, I believe. I wanted to ask about Chris Carpenter in particular. How have you seen him grow in his time here at UTSA?
We've talked about it a ton, right? Just in how he's grown up as a man, and how dependable he is now. He went from a guy that we had penciled in as probably getting 20 snaps a game and returning some punts to a guy that's playing 75 snaps a game and quite arguably our most valuable receiver consistently through the season. So that's a pretty big jump for what we expected, but due to injury, he just has stepped up and he just keeps making plays for us.
What do you think you're going to remember most about this senior class?
I don't think it's done just yet. We've just now got our head up to where we can see out the hole. We've been in the hole the entire season, but I would say that would be it. Those guys, their belief in the system and the culture. We've never lost those kind of games before, which has never challenged our fan base to maybe be so disappointed and maybe upset and have no hope. But the locker room never let that show up on the field. And I'm really proud of that. There's not one game where anybody can say, they didn't show up. We had games we didn't play well. We had games we didn't close. But there's never been a moment where there wasn't the belief in the triangle. And it's pretty special in a culture and a climate of the world where we're just not quite as old-fashioned, loyal supporters like we used to be back in the day. Now, I know I'm sounding like an old dude, but, back in the good old days.
What do you think your emotions will be? 26 players is a lot to go through.
Yeah, the same as it's been all 20 seasons. These guys probably be a little more special, though, because I know what they've been through. And they didn't tap on me. They hung in there with me. And there's a lot, it's not just 1 year. So many of these guys have been with me so long. And there's been a lot of memories. Those guys literally changed the program. Jamal Liggin and Donye Taylor, what they got recruited to, this is not what this thing is anymore. The fact that people are griping that we don't have enough nutritionists and we don't have enough of this, that we don't have our indoor, is hilarious when you look at what they were recruited to 5 years ago. Those would have been dreams 5 years ago. And those guys, and obviously a city and an administration and some boosters have moved it, but those players had as much with moving it as anybody.
How important is it for that group to continue the bowl streak and go out with another winning season? Has that been a talking point as it relates to the end of their career?
I'd be lying if I told you it wasn't, right? It's about the only thing we had left. And it was looking pretty dire. And at least we have hope now. And I've told them there's never going to be a game in their life they've wanted to win more than this one. And they've played in a bunch of big games, but they're going to want this one. So it won't matter how bad they want it Friday if they don't prepare correctly Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And that's been the focus. We can't get distracted. You got national TV. You got a Friday night game. Temple's coach got fired. We're playing for a bowl game. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And those veterans have got to be mature, handle their business. They got tons of family coming in. They need extra tickets. I mean, they got a lot going on, and they got to be focused and ready to roll Friday night.
Jeff, there's been several head coaching changes in this conference recently. I know you never like to see a head coach removed, but just kind of what's your reaction to, seems like a lot of change in this conference.
I've said it to you guys as long as y'all have known me. I'm a huge fan of coaches. I just believe in coaches. I know what coaches did for me in my life. I know what coaches have done for the majority of athletes they've had in their lives. There's a bad apple everywhere. I understand that, but there are not many in coaching. I mean, most of those guys are, really, really, really good people that work hard and try to do a lot. And my first thought always is how much support did they have? I mean, how much support did they get? And it's impossible to win in a place if they don't want to win. And so I know I'm loyal to coaches, but that's the first thing I think of. All the families, all the GAs, all the analysts. You're not just firing one human, you're firing an entire building. And I just hope all those guys got what they needed to try to be successful, because you can't win anywhere without help. It's administration, it's boosters, it's fan base. And yes, the coach is extremely responsible for all that. But if you don't have all those other things in line, you're not going to win.
Jeff, appreciate it.
Thank y'all.